Welcome back, y'all, and happy Tuesday. Today, we're going to jump inside the film room and break down Tennessee's orange and white game. And last night's really the first opportunity that I had to go through and watch this game thoroughly. Watched each individual player on every single play, and I came away a lot more optimistic. The first thing that I want to kind of point out to everybody is that the route combinations and all of that, the offensive flow, I think, is significantly better than what we saw in 2024. So that should be good for whoever's starting a quarterback for us. I think that they're going to have an easier operation. It's going to be a lot more user-friendly, and that's what we're looking for this season. So, as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I also want to let y'all know that I got this video from X and Cooper_Fry8. I'm going to put that up on the screen for you. But big shouts out to them for putting this out there for everybody. And I know that there's other people that probably have put this type of content out, just, going to the orange and white game, filming it. So I want to shout all them out, even if I don't know, what your handle is on X or anything like that. I also think that this one is going to be on YouTube, but either way, let's go ahead and jump into this. So I want to start off right here with this first play. And this is just going to be like the actual scrimmage portion. It's not going to be any of the one-on-ones, none of that. I'm going to do my best not to take too long on each play, but there are several things that I want to point out to you. So on this first play, as you can see, G-Mac is at quarterback, and it does sound like it's going to be more of an open competition for him and for Merck. So I think that that's good, man. If G-Mac can gain the weight, I think that he, might have a pretty good shot to do some good things for us in 2025. But on this first play, okay, we're going to go let this thing roll. This is a run right here. This is an inside zone to Justin Baker, and he looks really good. So I love the fact that he's running through tackles here. And then also, really what I like to do, y'all, is, on these, every time that we go through a play, right, the first time, I want to look at how the offensive line looks. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to look at the offensive and the defensive line. Again, like we said, we know that the defense was missing a lot of players, especially up front. But we will also see a good mix of, some of the twos going up against some of the ones and threes going up against ones and things like that. So I think that we can get a pretty good gauge of how some of these guys look. But just looking at this offensive line, you can tell that look at that. There's a huge hole. There's a really big hole right here. All right. And that's obviously huge. So, I think that Cade Agumuro did a really good job. He's one of the players that I definitely will highlight. Like we said, that's a good job by Justin Baker of getting up the field. I think that he's going to be fine. So on this one, what do we have here? So this is another inside zone right there with Justin Baker. We had a pretty good push there. Let me try to go back. Let's try to go back and get to the start of that play. So it doesn't start right on time, but you can see that there is a good push from the offensive line, right? So the line of scrimmage is probably about right in this area. Sorry, the line's not straight, but it's probably about in that area. They are getting a good push, especially with the center, with the guards. I think that the interior of our offensive line is really deep, it's really strong. So, I would say that Nick Moore, he's another player that I could definitely highlight and point to. And, we are able to fall forward. And if you look at this yellow jersey here, I want to say that this is, I think that that's Cole Harrison. So, he's wide open here. This is a play where G-Mac, he's scrambling out to his right. He got a little bit of pressure coming from the left side right here, but it was late pressure. Doesn't feel like it was super instant pressure, but good job there throwing on the run. I'm not quite sure who that wide receiver is. But that's an accurate pass from outside of the pocket. So that makes you feel good. So let's see it here, right? We got the field spread out pretty good. But actually, if you look at where Harrison is, he's not too far away. So he's in a pretty good spot where he could run some different routes. I love to see that. And mostly, we are going to get to the defense too whenever some of that stuff comes up. But for now, everything is pretty much about the offense. We're going to look at that offensive line and see how they're looking. So I'm going to also highlight this. Trevor Duncan right here playing at right tackle. I think that he had a really good scrimmage. He looks good. I think that he's ready. On the left side, we're going to have Bennett Warren. So looking at Trevor Duncan does a good job of just guiding his guy up the field. Really, both of the tackles, I think, did a pretty good job there. Hard to tell who they're going up against. That might be, I think that's Kellen Lindstrom right here at the bottom. I think that this is Kellen Lindstrom. Okay. So it looks like he might have been playing Leo on this play right here. All right. So in white, we're going to have Bennett Warren. Can't tell who he's going up against, but you can also tell that right here, doing a good job of just not allowing any real pressure. G-Mac using his eyes well, and if he doesn't like what's down the field, something that Hendon Hooker did a great job with, go ahead and run. Like, you don't need to take forever to try to run. Now, there will also be some times because this is just thud, which means that they're not tackling to the ground. You can't touch the quarterback. There were some times when I think the quarterbacks probably got sacked, but the plays, they kind of like let the play keep on going. So, we'll get to some of those plays here in just a minute. But I think that the defense did a pretty good job of rallying there. So again, boom, look at the offensive line. Think that this so far looks good. So we've got some pressure coming off of the edge there, right? Got that pressure coming. Looks like that one is not going to get picked up. Let me get rid of all that first. Boom. All right. So, but you know what? We're able to get it out quick. So I actually like that. Again, a lot of the things that we're doing within this offensive scheme and flow, it's just there's a lot more check down routes. There's things are moving a lot quicker. It's not, hey, everything is vertical. You got to wait, 2 or 3 seconds before anyone's going to get to the top of their route and start to break and possibly get open. That's where I think, Tennessee's offense it struggled at last season. But here, like, again, we talked about Harrison. You see him just coming out of the backfield. He's right there as a check down option. We've got some deeper routes going down the field, right? And actually coverage up here looks good. I want to say that this is Dylan Lewis up here at the top. So Dylan Lewis looks good right there. I think he's actually going to get a little bit overly physical with this play. But I'd rather a guy be overly physical, make the referees have to, make them have to throw that flag instead of just letting somebody run wide open down the field. So again, looks like this is an inside zone. Yeah, I think that's Justin Baker doing a good job of running through tackles, standing on his feet all the way up to the end. Guys are rallying to the football on defense. I think that looks great. All right. So biggest thing, again, is going to be about this offensive line. Very impressed. Really, I mean, this is probably like the third string guys. Okay. So like we kind of talked about right here, Bennett Warren. And then right here, I want to say this is Cade Agumuro at center. I believe that this is Nick Moore. At right guard, I'm not quite sure. That might be Aiden Bustle. And then right here, we have Trevor Duncan. All right, so go ahead and let it roam. This looks like this is cover 0 maybe, or man, getting the football out on a quick screen to the tight end. That's something that we didn't do a ton of last season, but I actually like that look. So here, boom, again. Look at Trevor Duncan right here doing a good job of keeping his pocket clean for GMAC, right? Watch him as he's going to work here. Okay, does a good job with the inside leverage, guides the guy up the field. And GMAC has a good pocket to step up into. And you can actually see that we've got a wide receiver open right here on this post, which is fine that we didn't hit him, because guess what? We're going to be able to hit a guy over in the corner of the end zone right there. Boom. And I think that this is Ra Jackson. So we get behind the coverage here. I'm not quite sure what the coverage was. It was probably a bust. It had to be a bust because people don't just run wide open like this guy did. But the whole point here is, again, focusing on the offense. I think that it looked good on that first drive. Really, really nice job. So now we've got not the second string. These would be Tennessee's ones, right? So we've got Merck is at quarterback. This is the center. All right. And so center is, like I said, William Satterwright. Left guard right here is Wendell Moy. Right here playing at left tackle, of course, is Lance Hurd. This is Pendleton. And this right here is Larry Johnson. And I think that this is Ethan Davis. Okay, so boom, we're going to go ahead and let this thing roll. All right, so we got the motion coming across the formation. Hard to tell who that is. But boom, we got a quick screen. The ball's a little bit low. Again, like we talked about this before, right, with Merck, that it feels like he's throwing a lot of the quick screen stuff from the short side. Okay, so you see that he's on this hash. So this is the short side. This is where the other hash is. We will have to find a quarterback, and I think that Merck can do this, that can throw this screen, to this side over here from this hash. All right, that's going to be important for Tennessee moving forward. I can guarantee you that, because you can't just run it from the same side every single time. That's a very easy key. But that ball's kind of low, so we can't really make anything happen there. So let's go on to this next play. See what we got. Boom. The offensive line looks pretty good here. Now, there is some pressure that's coming off of the edge. We didn't get that picked up. So that's something that, you can figure out why that happened. And I think I'm going to go back. I think that what we do here is we're going to shift the offensive line to this side. Okay, we're going to shift it. Actually, I'm going to do it for y'all this way to make it. Shift the offensive line going that way. All right, going that way. And that's why, this guy comes, I want to say it's him, comes off of the edge. All right, he's going to come off the edge from there. And what we want, okay, in plays like this is, that should have been the running backs guy. All right, so that's supposed to be his guy in a situation like this. But of course, off of the play action, it's kind of tough to get that, I don't know. That's something that we have to be able to, I think, identify with the quarterbacks. Not 100% sure on that. Of course, I don't know all the ins and outs to this offense, but that would probably, that would make the most logical sense. So let's see right here. This is I mean, look, look at the bunches here, y'all. Right, so it's bunched up a lot tighter. Let me show you. Um, I'm gonna show you this way, right? So boom, we got a guy there, and then boom, we got a guy here. Okay, so those splits, they are tighter. Something that we just I didn't really notice before whenever I was watching it. But we're gonna go ahead. Okay, so the play is getting changed here. It's the same offensive line. It's hard for me to tell who that is at who the wide receivers are. But boom. All right. So look, things are picked up well. Okay, picked up pretty well. Outside of the simple fact that I will say this is Jackson Moy right here. Jackson Moy could have made this sack. That's what we were talking about before. He could have made the sack, but he's gonna stop because obviously you don't want to hit these quarterbacks, especially knowing that we're shorthanded coming into this game. So what happens on this play is I think that William Satterwhite and it might have been Sam Pendleton. I don't think that they passed this off right, and I would maybe put that more on Sat on this play. I don't maybe that what that could have been on Wendell Moy. But again, it's very difficult to tell. I would say that somebody, obviously, one of those guards or the center, didn't do a good job with that stunt that's coming around. But I do like this pass from Merck. Watch this. Okay, so boom. I'm gonna show you this part of it. You see that there's a guy in this passing lane here, right? But Merck does a good job, and this is actually a pass that's going to Travis Smith, freshman. All right, he's definitely open there, right? Like you can see right here, Travis Smith, he is open. And who is this over here? Gardner. Tough to tell who this is, but looks like we're playing an off coverage, so I'm not overly concerned about it. That might be William Wright. Okay, so either way, I think that pass looks really good from Merck. Now, boom. All right, so play action. The pocket is beautiful. The pocket is great. And now Merck is scrambling out. Now, he does have a guy right here that he could probably throw this football to, but I don't know if there's really any need to do that whenever he has all that green grass, right? He's got all this room, excuse me, that he can run with. So that's what he's going to do. And, I think that's 9 times out of 10, that's probably the right decision for him to make. You know what I'm saying? He's showing a little bit of gamesmanship, does a good job getting out of bounds. So pretty good job there by the offense. I think that the defense is looking pretty solid so far. There will be some more plays that I can really highlight with this defense, but just look at the blocking though. I think that the blocking was really good. There was a guy that came maybe not even unblocked, but there was a guy that looks like maybe coming from about like right in here. Okay. Looks like he's gonna kind of come through. Actually, let me get rid of this real quick for you. All right, boom. So let's see. Okay, so this is a stunt. This is something else. So I want to say that this is Bryson Eason on the left side. I'm gonna do it this way. That right there is Bryson Eason, and then this other guy is right there. That's Wendell Moy. So they're running a stunt here, and they do a pretty good job on this one. We'll see some more where I think that them running those stunts, they work very, very well together right here. What are we seeing? We're going to take it back. So this right here looks like one of these wide receivers. It might be this guy that's playing in the slot. He's going to run, he's going to run like a little slant right here. Okay, so let me get back to my pencil here. He's going to run, I believe it's either like an in or it's a slant. I love that. Tennessee needed to do a lot more of that last season. Okay, so yeah, so slant. And is that Boo? That might have been Boo on that one. So, the pass is obviously thrown low, and we will get some people kind of walking in front of the camera and things like that. But again, on this play, look at the splits. I mean, this is a lot better. This is a lot more user-friendly than what we saw last season. But boom, okay. This is Jordan Ross going up against Lance Hurd. All right. So Jordan Ross, first off, you can see that he's strong enough to get a good, he kind of knocks Lance Hurd back just a little bit. Okay. He's going to knock him off balance just a taste. So he's very strong, but he's still able to Lance. So Lance is still able to kind of anchor back down, slow the pass rush down just enough. And I'm telling you, I feel like Jordan Ross is going to be a big time problem this season. If you look on this other side over here, right, let's take a look right here at Larry Johnson. Okay. See what he's doing here. Who's he going up against? I think that he's going up against Joshua Josephs. So Joshua Josephs actually kind of gets to the outside of him, and Larry has to kind of hold him there. But, we do a good job of getting the football out of our hands quick enough. And it's, we're throwing that out of bounds. You would like for that to have been maybe a little bit more on target or maybe to, make something happen. But again, this is just a spring game. So, so far, so good. Again, I do want to also highlight that the interior of our offensive line, they've been very stout in both of the groups that we've watched so far. But you're seeing the route combinations here. We have an out. We've got the cross coming from here, kind of running things off. So that this is a big part of the reason I feel a lot more excited. And also, look at this. We've got a guy out in the flat, so we're opening up the entire field. We're using it more. This is more like a West Coast offense where you're going to really actually spread the field out with the routes and make the defense have to defend everything. It spreads them out, so you're going to have those openings. You just have to be more on time, but at the same time, it's a little bit it's a little bit stronger than that because Tennessee also has some crazy route combinations with, like we talked about, with these crossers and things like that. This is more like how Tennessee's offense looked, going back to 2021, 2022, right? So we're going to go ahead and let this thing finish, and then it looks like the next one we're going to right here. So this is G-Mac. Okay, he's throwing, I think that this is Cole Harrison right here. It looks like another slant. All right, so he's throwing that. Boom, got a guy wide open right there. That was accurate. That was on time. The pocket looked pretty clean there. So here, really hard to tell, okay, just because we kind of got a late start to it. But we got the running back here, and I'm not sure exactly who that running back is, but, we've got people moving around, right? We've got people moving around, making blocks, getting up the field. This looks a little bit different. I'm telling you, this looks a little bit different than what we've seen previously. Look at that. We get a nice little sandwich here. There's a lot of physicality with the offensive line. And, we're falling forward. Let me see, who was that? Was that Star Thomas or was that Justin Baker? All right, so let me go back. Let me see who I was in here. All right, so this is Kellen Lindstrom. I want to say right here, number 56. Okay, going up against Trevor Duncan. Looks like there is some pressure. Okay, yeah, there's some pressure coming from up top. Not quite sure who that is, but I know that that's Ben and Warren that's supposed to be blocking him. We've got another guy here that's kind of been cut loose. I can't tell. Actually, you know what? This has Ben and Warren here. It looks like they're supposed to be blocking him. I can't tell who this is up top. So either way, main thing that I'm looking at is going to be with it's going to be with that offensive line. So also, we can pause it here and we can look and see how's the coverage look. Cornerback looks good right here. Okay, he looks like he's in a good spot. Looks like we're dropping to depth here, and we're also not just covering grass, which is huge. You know what I'm saying? You see the guys getting inside of the passing windows, something else that we need to work on from last season. Just way better job, guys. This looks a lot better. Also, that's a good job. Throw the ball out of bounds. How many times did we miss on throwing the ball out of bounds last season? We didn't do that enough. You have to do that, live to fight on for that next down. So let's see what we got on this one. So boom. All right. So I love this, right? So you have the tight end coming across the formation from behind the formation. This is simple. Just get him out in the flats. We didn't do this enough last season either. So he's going to come across kind of like he's blocking and work himself out to the flats. I think that's Brame right there. So this is Deshaun Brame. All right. Good job right there. Let your playmakers get the ball out in space. Give us a quick 4 or 5 yards or maybe even more. That's going to be one of the big keys for this team. Can we have the guys that on these types of routes where we're getting them the football early, close to the line of scrimmage? Can they make people miss? That's what we need to be working on is can you run through somebody or can you juke them out? Whatever you got to do. Can you get us extra yards? If Tennessee can do little things like that, all of a sudden, you got to feel a lot more confident with how this team could look. Now, also looking at the offensive line here, again, so far so good. The ball was pretty much just snapped, but things look good there, right? We're falling forward. You see bodies are falling forward. That's exactly what you want. So, boom, let's get on to this next one. And this is still G-Mac, okay? This is still G-Mac. Boom. Love that, okay? Misdirection stuff. So watch, okay? I think that this is Baker. That actually might be Hunter Barnes. It's either Hunter Barnes or it's Justin Baker. It's hard for me to tell. But he's going to come across here, right? We're going to fake the handoff there. We're going to have the tight end coming across like he's going to do an insert, which is just a block. But he's going to go out on a route. You know what I'm saying? So little things like that. We barely did any of this last season. But boom, you can see that he is open again in the flats. Now, this is a good job, I think, by G-Mac of showing that touch. He's got to get it over this guy. I love the fact that he's showing that little bit of touch. And really, this is a pass that Brame should have caught. You know what I'm saying? That's the ball that he's supposed to catch. So here, look, really the pocket was fine. Wasn't that bad. This is something I feel like G-Mac's going to learn. You got to kind of stand in there. Now, he did feel the pressure coming from this side. All right, so he did feel that some. I'm not mad at him. If you feel like you need to get out of there, go ahead and get on up out of there. So he's doing that. He's trying to buy some extra time, and then he's able to just sling that thing out of bounds off of his back foot. This looks a lot more like, I'm not going to say like a real pro style offense, but the operation with the quarterbacks, the way that they, are able to kind of ball out some, like, right, like they're able to kind of, I'm gonna buy some time, throw it back. It's not as much, hey, this is straight up and down, so everything's got to be from inside the pocket and on time, or it's got to be, if it's a sprint out, it's got to be there. Everything doesn't have to be so on time. This is what we need. It's just that little bit of extra wiggle room to make some things happen. Great job here, stepping up into the pocket. And I have to highlight this because this is one that really stood out to me. So this is Trevor Duncan playing at right tackle, going up against the same Jordan Ross that we talked about before with Lance Hurd. Now, Jordan Ross is going to win his fair share of reps. So on this one, he actually gets a good little bull rush here. But watch what Trevor Duncan does. He's going to anchor down, boom, throw him out of the way. Now, is that because Jordan Ross let up because he didn't want to touch that quarterback? Or is that really from Trevor Duncan at that last second there, anchoring down, pushing the guy out of the way? Now, this is a guy that's he's going to wreak havoc in the SEC. Trevor Duncan is like a second, maybe third string tackle for Tennessee. We talked about how great he looks physically, but he's playing well. Okay. And this ball, that looks like that was caught. So, we're able to make longer throws here, it looks like, with GMAC. Here, okay, good job riding it out, rolled that fake out. That's just read option. So this is a play where we're going to see Jordan Ross. This might have been one of the things that Coach Chop was talking about. He didn't play this right. Okay, so he's going to bite on this fake. Also, again, hats off to what GMAC did here, right, to really ride that fake out and get Jordan Ross to bite down. But Jordan Ross is going to have to be a lot more disciplined in this moving forward. So look, he bites on this run, and GMAC does the correct thing. He said, okay, I'm going to use my legs and get outside of you. That's so encouraging to see things like that from an offensive, I would say from the offensive side of the ball, but then you do see that Jordan Ross is still able to kind of catch up with him. So he's a good enough athlete that even if doesn't have the perfect form and stuff, he can still make plays, but he's going to have to get that, cleaned up for sure. So boom. I mean, I think that just the blocking looks really good here. Again, they're going up against, there's a lot of young guys in here. Okay. There's a whole lot of, I think that this right here might be Isaiah Campbell. I think that might be him. So boom, pulling around, looking good. That was actually, looks like that was Nick Moore who's pulling around. So he looked good there. I think that Max Anderson, I mean, look at Max Anderson right here. He looks really good. He had, I think, very, very good scrimmage. Everybody, look, Trevor Duncan doing a good job blocking here. You know what I mean? Wait a second. Look at Cade Agumoro. That's a true freshman, y'all, all the way down the field. He had some monster blocks. Okay, he pancaked some people. I want to say that Nick Moore had some pancakes. So yeah, the offensive line looks really good. Look at this, picking up blitzes and things like that. Now, this isn't the best. So this is one where Jordan Ross wins. This is a sack. He would have had this sack here. Again, that's Trevor Duncan that he's going up against. Jordan Ross is the guy that's in orange. That is a sack. I don't know if they blew that whistle or not. They might have, but even still, you see GMAC, he's willing to use his legs. Will he be as willing whenever it's full contact and things like that? That's the main reason he's going to have to gain the weight. Probably needs to put on, I'd say, at least 20 pounds. But, I would say so far, so good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're seeing some of our backups going up against some guys that are starting caliber, and they're holding their own. This is a good job here of using our eyes. Yeah, I think that's Hunter Barnes. Good job there. The blocking looked good. We got to kind of pay attention to these linebackers too, don't we? Let me see what these linebackers are doing here. Okay, so actually that was a pretty good one. So I think that we look pretty decent. I don't know. Is this Jordan Burns right here? Might be Jordan Burns right here in some man-to-man coverage. But this route, I love this. Going to run it out there. And, I think that this is just kind of like a clear out, right? And then backside, we've got Jefferson on a crossing route. These are the types of things that you just didn't see Tennessee pretty much ever doing. And then again, like we said, Hunter Barnes going out to the flats up top. We've got options, y'all. We've got options. And then not even just about having those options, but pay attention to how the offensive line looks to kind of start things off, right? Because we could have very easily thrown this thing out to the flats up top to this running back, Hunter Barnes. He's probably going to go because you've got the defense, right? Everyone's flowing this way now, right? We've got everyone flowing this way now. Or, we've got people standing still now. This is I know I keep on saying this, but I don't think I can say it enough. This is how offenses are supposed to look. We're going to have a lot more opportunities based off of this. And, we're able to get that ball out to Jefferson right there on the goal line. Now, that play, I don't know what happened. Looks like they, maybe jumped the snap. See it again here, or, we're going to see this next play here. I have to highlight Jack Van Dorsalier. Okay, have to highlight this young man here because he had a great game. It wasn't just about him going out and catching passes. It was about how physical he was at the point of contact. You're going to see him here on this block. I saw him going up against some starting types of linebacker bodies too, and he's solid enough. He is ready. I would say that just based off of this. I would probably say that it's going to be him and Ethan Davis to start this season off as our starters. So this is another really nice play, right? So we've seen something similar to this before. So tight end's going to come on down here to the flats, wide open. I think that the running back's going to fake right there. And what's going to happen is Jordan Burns, and actually I might have to go back one play because I think that I missed one. I think that I missed something that I wanted. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to come back to this. I want for y'all to pay attention to Cade Agumuro. I think that this is where he's at. But he's going to get up to the second level, and he's going to get to Jordan Burns. Or actually, on this one, this is Nick Moore doing it. So I might have missed when Cade did it, but look at that. Boom. That's a pancake. And I hate that I missed that, or it might have been one of the plays that I had already highlighted. But yeah, so Jordan Burns, obviously, he's going to have to get a little bit better. Who's this safety sticking his neck in there? That daggum safety right here. He's gonna really fight to get on. He's really gonna fight to get in on this play here. Boom! Look at this. He's gonna stick his neck in there. That's what you want to see. You want to see guys sticking their daggum neck in there. So that looks great. But we got the double blitzes coming off of the edge. Jordan Burns doesn't do a good job. He lets a man cross his face coming out of the backfield. So that's something else that he's going to have to learn. And obviously, this stuff is going to be scripted. So they draw up certain plays to see how are the players going to, how do they, react to this type of stuff, right? So if this is a blitz, you're going to let this guy, are you going to let this tight end cross your face? Okay. Or is it right here? It's either one who messed up by letting this tight end cross his face. Somebody messed up. People shouldn't be crossing your face free, especially down here inside this red zone area. But love that from what the offense looks like, okay? And I also, there's some things that I liked about how our defense looked, but obviously some of those young guys, they have a ways to go. So now we got Merck back out there. We got the tight end going across. I love this play. Sorry to pause it right here on you, but let me go ahead and tell you. So we've got Ethan Davis, okay? He's lined up wide, okay? He's flexed out, and he's going to come across like he's going to block right here, but then he's just going to get on up the field. And he's an easy, check down person, right? Easy check down if he doesn't get picked up. And this is actually Jeremiah T-Lander that he's in contact with right here, right now. So we all know that we all know the power T. He's a big guy, but look at how much bigger Ethan Davis is. And look at how much more physical he is. So, we're able to dump that off. The only thing that I will say that's a little bit iffy on this is William Satterwhite. You do have 3 yards to get up the field as an offensive lineman on these pass plays. He is like right on that line, and I'm sure that the coach has talked to him about that. But that would be the only thing. But I love, like, look at the routes, y'all. Look at all the different routes. So it looks like over here we've got, maybe like a smash. Okay, sorry that line looks crazy. And then right here we've got in like a quick little in route. Okay, so we just didn't see too. Oh, and then let me also highlight this. I have a lot of things to talk about. All right, so look, this right here is Tyler Redmond versus Mike Matthews. Watch how good Tyler Redmond looks in coverage here. Watch this, okay? Pay attention to how he looks off of the line of scrimmage versus Mike Matthews, who we think, hey, might be the best wide receiver. Look at this, boom. He's in phase, doesn't get tricked, doesn't get fooled. He's still in phase. He's right there easily. So Phil, right there, if you look at the coverage in all these other spots, it looked good, okay? The coverage was pretty much tight everywhere else. Offensive line also looked good right there. So let's go ahead and let this one roll. Boom, look at this. He's got all day, y'all. I mean, he's doing the offensive line's doing a great job with the pass blocking. This is a beautiful pocket. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Okay. And then, we're just going to throw that one away. So what are the routes here? Looks like we've got, okay, so we got a hitch here. Okay. That's fine. We got a go ball there. Looks like we're going to have maybe like a dig right here. So, this is already, sorry. Oh no, that's a deep comeback from the inside guy though. I haven't seen that in a long time. So that pass, it was definitely off the mark, but that's something that you can get fixed and, cleaned up and things like that. So let's go on to this next one. So we've got the blitzes coming, and this looks like, yeah, this is just a handoff. All right, so we're just going to hand that one off. That's a good job by the defense on that blitz. We couldn't pick up all those bodies. Stepping up here, great job. Great job of stepping up into a pretty clean pocket. But you got to give the quarterback room to step up. That comes from the guys in the middle, from the center and from those guards. You can't get pushed back too much. They do a good job there. The tackles, you got to guide the people up the field. That's what creates that pocket. That's what we're seeing here. So right here, looks like we're going to have a switch route. It looks like someone's going to go here, okay? And then someone's going to come back inside, right? Is that what we got? Yep, switching it up. Boom, dig, it's there. Guess what? We got levels to this. We're going to space it out because we're putting the guy underneath it. Y'all, I promise you, like when I tell you, we barely ever saw this stuff last season. We're seeing way more just in this orange and white game. And that's why I'm so excited about it. But making the levels, what does that do, y'all? I can tell you what it does. It makes easier passing lanes. You make people have to bite up on these underneath routes so that the routes on top of that are open. So, using the running backs or tight ends right there. And then also, look, we have another cross right here. This is Mike. Guess what? I think that Mike might have been open right there for 6 if we wanted it. If you lay that ball way out here, that probably could have been 6, right? But I'll take this because this is a completion. Stepped up into the pocket, and we're able to find the first person that we saw. So that last play looks like there was a false start or something like that. Let me see. Running back switching over to the other side. Okay, boom, play action. Or this is actually, I think that this is in RPO. So it looks like what's going to happen here, and I could be off on this. I think that we're having in right here, and then I think we've got this guy. He's doing something to the outside. It might just be. Let's go ahead and let it run and see what happens here. Okay, yeah. So he's going. So this guy, he just goes straight down to the flats. So spacing. I haven't really seen Tennessee run this version of the RPO either. I'm sure that we did maybe once or twice, or maybe even more than that. We probably did it some, but it wasn't like a typical version of it. So switching things up, right? Switching things up and giving the defenses a different look. Okay, even though it's only 1 or 2 yards, whatever. That's kind of what that play is there for, right? You're either gonna hand it off or you're gonna throw it. Good job here of avoiding the pressure, getting out of bounds. Let's see who was that bringing the pressure. Let's see if we can figure that part of it out. Shot this defense out. So it looks like we got a blitz coming from the third level there. Looks like maybe that's a star or a safety blitzing. And really, this is definitely one of those situations where you'll see that the offensive line. Let me pull this tool back up. That the offensive line, it's going to slide that way. Okay, it's going to slide that way. All right. So teams do this a lot. They want you to slide to your right, and then they'll bring the pressure, like they'll blitz from that left side. But you got to find a way to get that picked up. On this one, we didn't have enough people on the left side to get it picked up. So, one of those guys, typically what they'll say is one of the guys that's coming unblocked, that's going to be the quarterback's guy. So I think that we did a pretty good job here. Hard to tell if that would have been a sack or not, but I think that anytime you can make a positive play out of something that was definitely going to be negative, you have to love that. Okay, you have to love that. Again, I'm going to start off up front. Everything looks fine there. That's an RPO. All right, that's a good job. I think this is Tyler Redmond. Okay, this is Tyler Redmond making a daggum play. Boom, right here. Okay, so this is Tyler Redmond. Okay, he's going to do a good job on this RPO. This is something Tennessee. Now, this is an RPO that Tennessee ran a lot of last season. Okay, again, we're seeing that it's coming from that near hash with Merck, but this is the one where you're going to see all hitches, right? Like you're going to see hitches from all the wide receivers, and then we've even got the running back. He's actually there as a pass catching option as well. But that's a really good job by Tyler Redmond coming off of his own guy and making a play on that football. And that was Ethan Davis that he just went through. So that's a big guy. All right. So I think Tyler Redmond's going to be fine. All right. Boom. Coverage looks pretty good there. So on this one, this is the pick right here. This is the pick. What the heck happened on this? All right. So what we're going to see. All right. So we got a slot fade here. This is a slot fade. Pocket is definitely not great. We've got some pressure coming. There's some people that are coming that are unblocked. But this pass, you've got to throw it here. Okay, that pass has got to be a little bit more to the outside, and Merck is going to leave it kind of high into the inside. You need some more zip on that pass too. It's not that easy. This looks like this is cover one. We have one safety roaming deep. You have man underneath that, and then right here, I think that we're going to have some type of a comeback or maybe like a dig. Okay, that's what's coming there. But this play really is, I want to say, designed. Yeah, I don't know what that outside wide receiver was doing. Typically, you wouldn't see 2 vertical routes side by side in a situation like that. And maybe he was supposed to just kind of like fall away like this. But look at the coverage, though. Look at how physical these cornerbacks are with these guys at the top of these routes. I think that this is J-Mac. Okay, I think that this is J-Mac right here. Watch the physicality from J-Mac on this boom, punch up right there, and then watch his burst. Watch his burst once the ball gets into the air. Look at that burst. That looks really good. And then, obviously, I'm not quite sure who that was who made that interception. That was either, I don't know. Is this John Slaughter? Is this Edris? Or is that Andre Turntine? That might be Turntine. Looks like that's a single digit number. All right. Either way, though, you don't want to have those types of mishaps, but this is the best time to have them. We just have to build off of it. And here, and actually pretty soon we're gonna get to see David Sanders. That's really where I kind of want to get to. Is this David Sanders in now? Actually, yeah, I think that is David Sanders who's in now. Okay. So I think that he had an incredible game. Let me try to get it right. Let me try to go all the way back. So boom, this right here. Okay. David Sanders playing at right tackle. Watch him on this play. Watch him on pretty much every single play, really. I mean, we could probably watch him because we could put on a clinic. Look at this. Look at that push. And so that right there was versus Campbell. We all know that Campbell, 5-star lineman, himself coming out of high school. I think that Campbell might still be trying to work himself back into shape some. He looked a little bit gassed, but he's got all summer to get that right. I think that he will get it right. But again, if you pay attention to this right side right here, looking at David Sanders, I came away very impressed with him. Look at that. He's stonewalling people. And so on some of these, we're going to see him versus Tyree West. Now, let's come back and let's see. Who is this making a catch here? Or is this a run? Okay, so this is Star Thomas. Star Thomas showing, some open field running, getting his shoulder pads turned over. You got to love that. Again, look at, man, I'm going to tell you. We're going to go back to the start of it, and we're going to go back to David Sanders. Pay attention to David Sanders here. You gotta love what you're seeing from him. I feel so good about him, y'all. Look at this. I mean, that's beautiful. He is manhandling people. Again, I think that's a nice run by Star. I'll pause it again. This is going to pretty much be about David Sanders. I want for y'all to follow him on every play. David Sanders going to work. That right there is versus Carson Gentle going to work. So here, this is a play. Who is this in coverage here? Let me go. Okay, so this is the play that actually P was talking about the other day. This is where Merritt is playing a cornerback. So we all know that we got Merritt coming out of high school to play safety for us, right? Well, we saw this throughout spring that he's been playing a little bit more corner. I think that he looks pretty natural there. I think some of his technique and things like that needs to get cleaned up, but he will get there. You can tell that the length and that the skill set is definitely there. So I'm feeling good about secondary, y'all. I'm feeling really good about it. There's another guy that I haven't talked about too much. And that is Caleb Beasley. But Caleb Beasley also looked good. Here he is again. This is David Sanders. Here he is again. So boom, Stonewall. And I think that that's Tyree Weathersby. He's going to be number 1 and number 2 on our strong side. Dog. Watch this again. Look at what's happening here. This is getting stonewalled. This is absolutely getting stonewalled. That's beautiful. I mean, that is textbook beautiful. Let's see what the rest of this. Let's see what else is going on here. I think that the rest of the offensive line looked good as well. So Brian Grant is the left tackle. Okay, he's playing up here. I think that he looked pretty solid. Okay, I think Tennessee's very solid at tackle. I think he looks pretty solid there. We see bodies. We see the defensive line bodies are on the ground in some of those situations. So right here, so we got again, man. These splits are not horribly wide. It's not super spread out. These are some, pretty normal looking splits. Okay. So we're faking a pass right there. Didn't get too much movement up front, but again, keep on watching that right tackle, David Sanders. And this is him versus, who is that? I think that's versus Tyree Weathersby again. This is a good job here too. And this is G-Mac on this little end here. Okay. So in here. All right. And I think that we're going to go kind of sit it down there, right? Occupy the underneath stuff. Let the guys. Okay, actually, I did that totally wrong, man. Whoa, they tricked me on that. Let me go back and show you. So it's actually going to be the in route coming from here. Love that, and then we've got a drag coming from there. Haven't seen Tennessee. I don't remember Tennessee doing this. Okay, love this. Love these combinations. And then it looks like it was the same thing on the bottom. Now, safety can make a play on this pass, but what I love about GMAC, y'all, is look at the confidence to make this throw. You've got to have this type of confidence to make this throw. You got to throw it. You got to throw it now. You got to throw with confidence. And because he does it, that's why this pass is caught. And that is Jack making the catch. Like we said, the safety maybe could have made a play on that. Of course, since it's not tackle, you don't want to blindside your own team. So he, maybe would have tried to make the hit right there. But even still, we can see where the talent's at, right? Like we can see that. That's the biggest thing. We're seeing a lot of different things here that I absolutely love. So this is actually okay. So this is GMAC. That's interesting. Did GMAC just go twice, or was that Merc on the previous one? That might have been Merc. So I hate to take away from that. If that was Merc, actually, I'm gonna go back and see. Was that Merc on the previous one? Yeah. Okay. My bad. So that is Merc. So that was Merc. So Merc did a great job with that, throwing with some confidence. Now, pre-snap movement. Okay, got some motion going. Play action. Crazy route combinations. Love it. Okay, love it. Love it. Love it. And we're not afraid to throw these passes. So this, I think that this is probably where he was trying to go. Maybe. Not quite sure. Or maybe he was trying to go underneath, but that's a good job by that cornerback. Couldn't tell who that was. All right. So let's see what we got here. Whoa. I've never seen us do that. Just go spin around in the whole circle. Is that really how the play looks? Wow, man, we've added a lot of wrinkles. So yeah, this is going to be different. This is definitely going to be different. Let's see what else we can pick up on from some of the other players. And you know what? I hate that I might have missed some of the big plays, or some of the things that look really good from Caleb Beasley. There was a time that we got to see Boo. Boo was out there some. So might have missed those, but again, man, y'all can go back and watch this on Twitter, because I know that I've taken up a lot of times, because there's a lot of things that I love. Like, look at this. Well, this is something else, right? So this is a sprint out. Tennessee did some of this last season, but I don't think that we did it enough. But you've got to mix things up. You've got to give some different looks. So we're going to have some people coming across this field here, right? We've got different levels here, and he decides. Oh, he actually dumped that off. So he dumps this off to the tight end coming out of the backfield. That's all day long. That's pretty much always going to end up being there. So love that. There's a lot of things that I absolutely love. Um, I think that we might have a shot for real, just because it's not going to be as difficult to operate this offense. There's a lot more user-friendly things. I think that, the running back's going to have a real chance to daggone ball. We haven't even seen pistol. Like, they didn't run pistol in this scrimmage, but I'm sure that that's something that they might still want to run. Be interested to see how that part of it looks. If just the basic offense looks this good, y'all, how long have we been asking for this? How long? Wait a second. How long have we been asking for? Hey, listen, get a guy isolated and just throw it up on a three-step drop. We've been asking for this forever, and this is the one that throw it up to your daggone playmakers. Ra Jackson makes a huge play. I think that is Dylan Lewis that's covering him. He was, and listen, I think Dylan had good coverage on this. All right, so boom, that's pretty decent. He kind of got beat a little bit off the line of scrimmage, but that's something that can get fixed. That's a snag, boy. And this is a true freshman out here balling. Boom. Yeah, man. We got these freshmen are serious. I think that the sophomores also. I think that they're all serious. And obviously we've got some really good juniors too. So if all these guys can step up, and again, we can go back to that play. Seeing a quarterback using his legs here again, man. If you're going to crash down on that, this is what you got to love inside of a red zone situation. Let the quarterbacks use their legs. You have to do that. I mean, you just absolutely have got to do that. It puts so much stress on the defense. But if we can get everybody to play on the same page, then we could definitely have something here. And for me, like I keep on saying, a lot of that's based off of some of the changes that we're seeing with the scheme. So here, man, we've got this little pop pass going to the tight end. Love this, because our tight ends, we use them as inserts a lot. Something that I absolutely love is, hey, show guys what show guys what you do a lot of, and have some things off of it. Like anything that you do, I feel like offensively, you should have something that comes off of that to keep the defense honest. That's what this is. So we're showing run. Look at this. The whole defense bites up. Because why? Because they don't have a whole lot of room to give up. So once you see it, you kind of got to go get it. And that's why plays like this are just deadly, because now we can sneak a tight end right out of the backfield. That's a beautiful pass too. Great touch. We didn't panic. No one panicked. So that looks great. So this is back to Merck. We got him sprinting out again. You can see all of the all the crossing routes. Everything is coming to this side of the field. This is almost like almost like a boo, but it's obviously not. This is just a sprint out, but we're gonna work the levels here. Okay, we got a lot of folks coming, and actually, I think that he might run like something like that, you know, which which is beautiful. Let me see. Is that yeah. Love that. Love that. Offensive line's looking good. Offensive line's looking good. Now we weren't able to get rid of that pass there. Would this have been a sack, or did the defensive line hold up? It looks like they're probably holding up right there. So we got to work on that clock. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be quick. Boom, boom, boom. But I do feel like the offensive line, just all together, they look a lot better than what we saw last season. You know what I mean? Flexing guys out. You see Jefferson right there at the bottom in the slot. And then, we've got the tight end up in the other slot up top. Boom. What do we got here? Crossing routes. Crossing route. Oh, dang it. I'm going to have to go back. Bear with me. I'm going to come back to this play. So this is the play. If y'all think back to the last practice that we watched, we saw our secondary players working on this, right? We saw them working on when there's crossing routes. And this is what P had talked about, right? Got these guys, they are going to cross. So love to see this. And actually, they're crossing kind of deep. And this play doesn't get to finish out. But that's it with our film session. All right, so these are my key points or key takeaways from what we just looked at today with Tennessee's orange and white game. Number one, I think that the scheme is on point. It looks totally different. I know I said that probably 500 times throughout that film, but it is exciting for me to see that Tennessee's going to have an offense that can actually be run. And we probably won't need like a juggernaut playing a quarterback for us to still find success on the field. So that's huge for me. Number two, Tennessee's offensive line is very deep. I think at every single spot. It looked deep on paper, but seeing these guys go to work, and I didn't break down every single player, but I'm just telling you, it all looked very, very good. And that's obviously going to be big. It starts up front. If Tennessee's offensive line can get a good solid push within our running game, along with the scheme that we already have, and then also if they can obviously set things up from a pass pro perspective, then we should be okay. And I think that the offense could most definitely be deadly. Also, number three, I think that the secondary is fine. I love what I saw from all those young cornerbacks and safeties. I think that that they're doing a good job of playing man-to-man coverage, of coming up, understanding the proper leverage that they need to play with. They're not just covering grass out there. But I think especially Tyler Redmond, I feel good about him potentially being cornerback number 3 to start the season off. So I don't know if we're still going to go to the transfer portal. We might, but from what I saw over the course of spring, and then what was kind of ended, or where we ended up with the orange and white game, I love where we're at. So number 4 is going to be that the young players are ballers, like on a totally different level. And I think that they can help us out this season. But for them, it might be a little bit more about what are they going to turn into for the future. And I think maybe more so because most of them will have to help us out this season. I will especially point out David Sanders. He's one that I'm very excited about. I think that he could probably start at right tackle based off of what we saw today. Him and Larry Johnson, that's going to be a battle that will, that's going to go on and on and on all the way up to the start of the season. But I feel very good. I feel a lot better about seeing David Sanders out there because he was blocking guys, like Tyree West. He was blocking them, stalemating them. So if he can do that, then he can block, anybody else probably in the SEC or in the country, period, point blank. So I feel great. I feel a lot better after going through and watching this a lot more closely. And we'll see what the summer brings. We'll see what that transfer portal brings and all that good stuff. But those are my thoughts. Please share yours with me down in the comment section. And as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.